Hi everyone, and welcome to the 10th edition of Venu's Weekly Cricket Catch-Up. I'm joined today with Fazan. How are you doing, Fazan?
I'm really good. I'm so excited. I was going to say decade, but it's the 10th edition of Venice Cricket Catch Up. We're in double digits. So I'm really looking forward to the show you put together.
Yeah, we've got a great show lined up for you this week. There's been so much cricket this week, so we're gonna add some really good cricket as well. So let's get started then. So the first match we're going to review is I didn't see this coming. West Indies beating Bangladesh in the first test match at Chattogram. And thanks to the debutant of Kyle Myers, who hit an unbeaten 210 to lead West Indies to a sensational comeback, really. And they needed 285 runs during the final day. And Myers found a perfect ally in Bonner. Both of them are debutants. They put 216. The pair did 216 and helped West Indies pull off the fifth highest chase in Test cricket and the highest ever in Asia. Let's put that into perspective. Okay, that put us in perspective. And Bangladesh were bossing it for the first 4 days. And then all of a sudden, I put in the WhatsApp group at the start of the day, and I thought this match is gonna be a good one, and I turned out right, so I was quite pleased with that. But once again, well done to Kyle Myers. And let's some stats here for any of you stats people out there. So Kyle Myers is the fifth highest individual score on Test debut of 210 not out. Is also his also the second highest individual beaten score in the fourth innings of a test, behind only Gordon Greenidge's 214 against England. So, and it is in all test matches, it is the fifth highest successful run chase in the fourth innings, and is the highest successful run chase in Asia. And really, really impressive.
Yeah, 100%, Venu. I think, as you said, I actually disagreed with you, and I know you were really optimistic and said it was going to be a fantastic day's play, and I thought it was going to be an easy-ish win for Bangladesh after the first 4 days, and it proved to be untrue, and you were completely right to say that. And it was an incredible match, and as Ashraf says, it was an incredible match by the West Indies. They put on a fantastic show, and Kyle Myers, as you said, 210 not out, and Bonner scored 86 and was a fantastic foil for him. But I mean, just the fact they're making their debuts, and we said that this match needs to be given a lot of publicity because realistically, West Indies don't have their strongest side. They don't. Let's be honest. They don't have their strongest side. They've come to Bangladesh in the ODI series. They got rolled over. Bangladesh, those have their strongest test side as well. It doesn't matter though, because West Indies, and this is the beauty of test cricket, isn't it, Venu? And we say this a lot, that sometimes you can have 3-4 days of competitive cricket, or even 3-4 days where you're losing, and all it can take is one fantastic day like West Indies had today, and they pulled off what can only be, I think, said to be a stunning victory. And chasing 395, you don't expect a team, as you said, to chase that type of score in Asia. And there's a reason why no one's chased that type of score in Asia before. And all I can say is I'm astounded. And one thing I think, actually, I heard someone say that there's probably going to be a lot of pressure now on Kyle Myers, considering it's his debut. And it's only down from here. But I'm going to be more positive and say I think this is maybe the start of something. Hopefully, he can continue this momentum into the next test match, and so can West Indies. And this needs to be talked about and talked up because this is, I'm not joking, this is a fantastic victory. We talked about, and rightly so, we talked about the India-Australia series because India had a depleted side and they pulled off that fantastic win at the Gabba. This similarly is a fantastic win. They're away from home. They've got, as I said, they don't have all their first team players. This is really a C or D team really from West Indies, similar to, I guess you can say, about the India side. And then next thing you know, they just turn it around. And I just thought it was going to be a regulation win for Bangladesh. But what a fantastic innings. I mean, I'm just hoping it's not a once in a lifetime thing. I'm hoping that this is going to help drive his own personal development and also West Indies cricket, because I think it needed that. Don't you think, Venu, in Test cricket to, what's the word? Push up.
Rejuvenate.
Yeah, rejuvenate. That's a really good point. Rejuvenate, and not just West Indies cricket, but Usher's saying here, yeah, all of Test cricket, and he's saying West Indies B. No, I disagree. I think it's yeah, it was their C or D team at the time, and Gordon Greenwich is the only other double century in the four things to chase successfully. So only the second time. So that just proves how good that knock is, and I'm astounded. Really, I'm still recovering from it. That's how great I thought it was, and I just remember seeing it and thinking to myself, "Wow!" I think you said, Venu, they've only got 30 or so runs left to get, and I was thinking this is going to be just wow. I think, and I'm hoping that now we can see West Indies cricket hopefully start rising again to the pinnacle of the sport in Test cricket, and hopefully that will inspire some younger kids in West Indies to pick up Test cricket and actually show the importance of it. That's my thoughts on it anyway.
Yeah, I think an excellent innings from Carl Myers, and personally, it would have been great for him, but also for the West Indies cricket nation as a whole, I think this would do great things for them. Hopefully some kids will be watching this and think, you know what, I could do this and really rejuvenate Test cricket in West Indies, and hopefully we can have hopefully in my lifetime I can see a West Indies, another great West Indies team that we saw in the 70s and 80s. So that's my hope. So yeah, I think it's a great advertisement for Test cricket. We've been lucky for Zone. We've already had two matches this year, this calendar year, where we've had really, really great fourth innings chases. So we had India chasing Australia. In Australia, that was at the Gabba, I think, at Brisbane for them to win that series. And we have this as well. And who knows, South Africa might do West Indies and chase down the target that they were set by Pakistan. So we've been lucky with some really good Test cricket, and it really shows that Test cricket is the pinnacle of the sport. It is the pinnacle of the sport. Like, you can't, no one can debate that. And long live Test cricket. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I think this is the amount of Test cricket that's on at the moment has been fantastic, and all I can say is, as you said, long live Test cricket.
Yeah, man, Ashraf has commented, what a match by West Indies. Yes, a fantastic match by West Indies. So thank you, Ashraf, for that. And moving on now to another Test match that is coming along nicely. It's the first Test match of the India-England series in Chennai. So in that Test match, I'm sure you've all been following really well that Test match. So India, this end of day for India, 257 for 6 after parts 91 and Pujara 73. And Don Bess could be arguably his best day in England shirt. Took 4 for 55, and they trailed England by 321 runs after England posted a mammoth 578 runs. And that's a massive thanks to another Joe Root masterclass, another 150 plus score. And I read somewhere that Joe Root has joined the illustrious list of batsmen to have scored 150 plus in 3 successive tests. And Tom Laban did that 2019, and Kumar Sangakkara, Zahir Abbas, Muddassar Nazar, Don Bradman, and Wally Hammond. So not many batsmen have done it, but Joe Root is in imperious form. Wouldn't you say so, Fazan?
Yeah, 100%. I'll touch on the Joe Root point first. I mean, what a fantastic knock. I mean, we talked about it yesterday in the live stream, and 218 off was 377 balls. A fantastic, just a fantastic knock, right? It really was. And as you said, 3 consecutive hundreds or 150 plus scores by him. And he joins that illustrious list, as you mentioned. And I think this is going to be his biggest year yet. We talked about it before, saying that he hasn't really had a a huge standout year. He's been very consistent over a number of years, but he hasn't had that one standout year, and he's already equaled the number of hundreds he scored in previous years. So I think the most hundreds he scored in 1 year was 3. So he's already equaled that. And considering they've got 14 games left, there's no way that he's not going to beat that. And I'm sure that he's going to be looking to potentially break the record for the most number of test runs in a year if he carries on this type of form. And I'm not being, I'm not looking too far ahead. I just think the amount of cricket they've got to play and the way he's playing is phenomenal. An incredible knock, really was. Then to, I guess, touch upon the Dom Bess. You know my feelings on Dom Bess, and I think a little bit of credit needs to be given to him in the sense that, look, not all his wickets were very lucky. I mean, there was one which was absolutely hilarious, which was the drag down. I think it was to Pujara, wasn't it? And Pujara went on the back. He rocked back on the back foot, and he went to pull it, and it's a long hop by Bess, and he's pulled it. And who is it? Ollie Pope ducks, tries to get out of the way of the ball, but he can't quite. So it ricochets off his back as he's ducking, and then just loops straight to Rory Burns. Was it shoulder? Yeah, his shoulder straight to Rory Burns. And I'm just thinking to myself, what the heck? Like, this is the type of thing that you would see in like a Sunday league match. And like, when they say, and I'm not going to say the swear word, but when they say rubbish gets wickets, this is what, like, it always is in my head when I watch Best Bowl and he gets wickets. And it is still a wicket. And that's the thing, right? Like, at the end of the day, and the stats will show that he's got wickets. My only question is, how long can he keep this up? How long can he keep up this run of bowling this way and getting wickets? Because at some point it's gonna come dry. But the one thing I would say is that I don't think he bowls like that the whole time. I just think there's too many of those loose deliveries, is what I'd say. But they're getting wickets at the time.
But can I say something? Can you talk about his dismissal of Virat Kohli? That was a fantastic delivery.
I didn't think it was a fantastic delivery.
I think it was a good delivery. I think it drew him the shot. And
it was a regulation off spinner, I thought. Personally, I thought it was a regulation off spinner and he played the wrong line. And he prodded at it and it was a poor shot. I'm just being totally honest with you. And it's not, again, I don't hate Dom Bess. I actually think he's going to end up becoming a very good spinner.
But he's made Kohli play a false shot. Surely you got to give Bess credit there.
But has he made Kohli play a false shot, or has Kohli just played a false shot because he's misjudged it and it wasn't a particularly good ball? Batsmen make mistakes, right? And I think that was a mistake. And actually, I've got a stat, and I know you love your stats, Venu. If we want to talk about Virat Kohli, and I'm sorry for all those Kohli fans out there, he's a fantastic cricketer. But in Test cricket, since 2020, the start of 2020, do you want to know what his scores are, Venu? Since 2020, the start? 2, 19, 3, 14, 74, 4 and 11. So he scored 150 in 7 innings. 150 in 7 innings, no hundreds. He hasn't scored 100 in over a year in any format. I'm not saying that this is, obviously, he's a fantastic player, but he's not going through the best patch right now. So, again, that then makes me think even more so that he's more prone to making mistakes. Then also there was one to Rishabh Pant, where Rishabh Pant tried to smash him for no apparent reason. Him straight right down Leach's throat. But look, I don't want to sound like I'm being really pessimistic, because I feel like that's what's coming across. I think at the end of the day, then, as you said, wickets are wickets. They are. And I think in this match, obviously, it's done England a great deal of good, if I'm being honest with you. But I just don't see this. I don't see him picking up this many wickets and like this throughout a whole series. And I could be wrong. We'll see. There's lots of matches left to play. Obviously, there's a four test series, and it's only the first innings from India as well. But yeah, I mean, I more foresee what happened to Jack Leach happening to Bess, because Jack Leach bowled pretty similarly to Bess. They were both pretty loose, but he got spanked everywhere. Let's be honest. When he went for 5.53 and over, and at one point he was going for 9 and over, wasn't he? So I mean, Pujara and Rishabh Pant took a liking to him, and I think he got hit for like 6 sixes or 5 sixes from Rishabh Pant. Anyway, but yeah, I think the biggest standout for me was Jofra Archer. I thought he was fantastic with the new ball, and I said that he'd need to have an impact, either him or Anderson at the start, and they did. because he removed Rohit Sharma very early on, and then Shubman Gill. And it just meant that they could bring in Pujara and Kohli pretty early doors, and they had them at 1.44 for 2, which was a really good position to be in. Yeah, it's an intriguing match, but I kind of foresee it's going to be a draw potentially, given how it's already day 3 and India haven't even completed their innings yet. But you never know, because these types of pitches can deteriorate and turn lots in day 4, day 5. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I think the draw does look the most likely at this point. However, I think India need to get another 120 odd runs to avoid the follow-on. So, if England can get these quick wickets tomorrow morning at the start of day 4 and maybe put India into bat again, then they could potentially chase a low score in the 4th innings. So I'm really looking forward to how this match develops. And India have never won a test match after conceding, 578 runs in the first innings. And the highest score they've conceded in a test match and then won was 556 when Australia scored in Adelaide 2003. So,
wow, okay.
Yeah. So it looks unlikely an India win. So the England win and a draw, probably draws most likely. And also I wanted to say about this is quite interesting because you were saying about Don Bess. I think you're right, Faizan, about Don Bess. I think he's quite hot and cold at the moment. And once he puts in consistent performances, then we'll say, actually, this guy's got it and he deserves, he's a spinner in England team. He'll be in an England team from now on. But he's very hot and cold. But we'll see how the series go on. But fair play to him. He got some key wickets and he got Kohli and Rahane in his successive overs. So, that really turned the tide in England's favour today. And also Pant. I would like to discuss about Rishabh Pant because he seems to play in one way, like quite an aggressive batter. That's the way he plays. And so since he's made his debut, this sort of found it really interesting. No other batsman has been dismissed more than twice between 90 and 99. And how many times do you think he's been dismissed in the 90s in his Test career, Rishabh Pant? How many times do you think he's on? And he's had a relatively short Test career. How many times do you think he's been dismissed in the 90s, Rishabh Pant?
Can you give me how many innings he's had? Or no? I'll guess.
Oh yeah, let me have a look for you.
He must have only had about maybe 11 innings or something. I think he's only played like less than 10 Test matches, or maybe a bit more around that. I think.
Look for you.
I'm going to go with, I may as well guess it though, 90. I'm going to go 4 times in the 90s or 5. Maybe 5.
He's played 27 innings.
Okay.
Yeah. 4 times.
5 times.
4 times.
Right. Okay.
But you did just change your answer, so
yes, I'm right. So it's wrong.
So he's already hit 205 50s, 450s, and his average of 40. He's looking good, but he already seems to play in one way. But I think the India management seem happy for him to do that, and yes, and good to see Washington Sundar and Ravi Chandran Ashwin batting as the 2 Tamils playing. Batting together, which is really good.
I'm going to quickly. Is it okay? I'm just going to quickly talk about Rishabh Pant actually, because I think
go for it.
You made a good point on it. And before actually I do, Cash is saying Bess set up Kohli beautifully, so I think he actually agrees with your original testament. I'm not really of the thinking. I think Usher agrees with it as well. That maybe I'm a bit biased, but as I said, I just didn't really see it. But let's go on to Rishabh Pant then. So I think for me. Venu, you're completely right. I think he only plays one way potentially. However, what I will say is that it seems to be working for him for the most part. And he's scored, as you said, a lot of runs already in his pretty new Test career. Let's be honest. So far, I actually think the biggest question mark around him is still his keeping. And I don't know how well he kept in the first innings. Obviously, I watched large parts of it, but I don't remember him making any blunders. And maybe someone in the chat or maybe yourself can correct me if I'm wrong.
One. He missed. I think he missed a catch.
Yeah, so I think for me that's the biggest question mark around him is his keeping. But if he puts in consistent keeping performances for this series, then I think he consolidates it. there was talk around potentially people were saying maybe they should play Sahar as a keeper, and then you just have Rishabh Pant as a specialist batsman. But I don't think they want the best of both worlds with Rishabh Pant, and that's fair enough because they want to shore up their options, batting and bowling wise, by having a more strong lineup, I'd say. And Saha doesn't fit into that equation. But yeah, I mean, Rishabh Pant plays one way. The way he got out was a bit reckless, for sure. I think once you're approaching 100, I think he probably maybe he doesn't care though. There's most batsmen will care when they're getting close to 100, and they won't play in that way because they'll be a bit more cautious. And then once they get to 100, they'll go more guns blazing. But he didn't seem to really care about that milestone. He just thought, I'm just going to play one way, and I'm backing myself to the nth degree. So yeah, maybe if he was a bit more tentative, he would have got out. But I think you can still be solid in defence, and maybe that's something he needs to learn to have different gears potentially. And I think that will elevate his game even more. But I think the way that he took on Leach was very good because Leach wasn't bowling particularly well. So he went after him in the right way. He used his feet really well, got to the pitch of the ball, and he hit him for 5 sixes. And the sixes he hit weren't really slogs. They were proper shots for the most part. There were a few over cow corner, but again, it was good timing. So I'm impressed with his batting so far and a strike rate of over 100. So he's doing a good job. And as you said, Washington Sundar's on 33 not out and Ashwin on 8 not out. So they're going to be looking to push towards that total because they trail by 321 runs. So it's going to be a hard slog for them tomorrow.
Yeah, some really, really nice points about Pant there for Zion. Arguably, he's played one of the best innings this year with his to set India up the victory in Australia, the last Test match. But Root defeating Kohli in batting captaincy at the moment. Do you agree? Well, he's certainly beating him in the batting department. And also, did you see his blind over catch was on today to get...
What a catch. Seriously.
Rahane? You got Rahane out or...
Yes, it was Rahane. So again, yeah. This is a half volley from Bess. This is what I mean, right? And I forgot about that. But and it was... I think someone said it would have gone for 4, and it would have because he timed it quite well, but it was uppish.
Great catch.
And a fantastic diving catch. And it just... Sometimes when the sun shines on you, it just shines on you, right?
I give him credit. Like he batted for nearly 2 days out in I don't know how hot it is in Chennai. It's probably hotter than it is right now in the UK. That's for sure.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
And he has got to concentrate. And I think Bess said in interviews after, like, he was just fitness levels of these guys are really up there now. That's really has improved cricketers over the last 5-10 years. The fitness levels of these players are ridiculous. But yeah, 100%. I think a captain, one of the biggest things is leading from example. And if you get runs, if you perform well, then the rest everyone else, you kind of drag your whole team up with you. And that's what Root's doing right now. And Kohli's not doing that at the moment. And that's why there are question marks. You can talk about Tim Paine's captaincy. The same. There's parallels there. Although he did have a decent series in India with the bat, but
yeah, he did. Yeah,
he made some when crucial moments. He didn't really rise up to the challenge. So yeah, definitely.
I mean, Payne's in there as a keeper, right? So his averaging 40 is fantastic. That's a bonus. But as you said, he needs to he's in there for the keeping. Kohli has 150 since the start of 2020, as we said. So yeah, 100% Root is defeating him with the bat. And because even though Root didn't score 100 last year in Test cricket, he still averaged 48, I think it was. So he scored a lot of 50s, and he started off the year in a fantastic vein of form. And captaincy, I mean, again, he won. They clean swept Sri Lanka. Kohli didn't captain them for the wins in Australia. So I think, given the form in terms of captaining wise, you can only say that Root is definitely defeating him in both for now. Cryptic RH17, thanks for your questions on the Pakistan match. We will address them once we get to that match. We're just going to finish up on the England-India one here.
Yes.
So Cash says, how do we feel about Archer's performance so far, bowling too much compared to the other seamers? Sorry, Venu, carry on what we're going to say, and then we can answer that whenever.
How about we answer this, and then we'll go on to the next bit.
Yeah, go for it. What do you think, Venu?
Yeah, as you said earlier, Fazan, I think Archer bowled really well at the start of the day to get both openers out at the start, and really set up Rohit Sharma as well. Bowling too much. I'm not too sure on that, Fizan. Maybe you could answer that a lot better.
So he bowled 16 overs, Anderson bowled 11, and Stokes only 6. I think Stokes probably needs to pick up a bit of that slack or the spinners. 16 overs is not terrible in a day. I think realistically, you probably want him to be bowling 14, I would say. So 16 is not terrible, but in the conditions, considering how hot it is, potentially maybe he should be bowling slightly less in the conditions. But I'm sure tomorrow he won't be bowling as much in comparison to the spinners anyway, because Leach and Bess and even Root potentially, given that the pitch will be cracking up, will have to take more of that slack. But yeah, I think Stokes maybe can bowl an over or two more as well. He needs to chip in, and he bowled 6 and he bowled quite tidily as well. So yes, that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, basically what you said, Fizan. So thanks for that. And the one final thing I want to say about this Test match is that it's being shown on terrestrial TV here in the UK, so on Freeview TV. So those of you who are not based in the UK and watching, so that's basically, it's basically you don't have to pay for this. Well, you're going to pay your TV license, but normally England Test matches on Sky, and you pay quite a bit of money every month to subscribe to that. But it's the first time in 15 years since the historic, one of my favorite series, when 2005 Ashes, and it's been 15 years and like a couple of months since a England Test match which has been shown live on terrestrial TV, and I think that's a fantastic move. And I think it's really good because hopefully there'll be some young kids, young boys and girls in the UK watching Joe Root get a 200, watching Bess take his amazing wickets for Zahn, watching some Joe Root's catch, and they'll be like, you know what, this cricket thing, I can play this, and hopefully we'll see some young kids going and trying out cricket this summer for their local clubs if you're allowed to. But definitely a fantastic move, and it was quite funny because Channel 4 have just got a presenter, and Sir Alistair Cook, and an entire generation have not seen a Sir Alistair Cook innings on Freeview TV in the UK, which I find is just ridiculous. So it's quite funny that he's there, and it's quite a nice touch as well that he's presenting the show. But yeah, definitely it's a great thing. I've always been an advocate of it, as you know, Fizan.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see, and I think I keep on chucking Simon Hughes into the bid, but no, I'm just it's more tongue in cheek. But I really like.
He did a great analysis on reverse swing. Like, I could do it now. I'm going to do it. But,
really, I don't really rate him. But I think Channel 4 in general though is fantastic, and the fact that it's on Freeview TV is great. So hopefully they can pick up some more series on it.
Yeah, I hope so. Like, I'm not sure. I just think maybe after COVID goes away, I think it probably goes back to Sky. That's what I feel. But even if it's like a couple of Test matches a year on Channel 4, that'd be great. But I'm sure Sky will make a massive fuss of it. But yeah, it's just great. And the thing is, like, it is not high tech. Like, the fact is, you just have one presenter, Sir Alistair Cook, and they don't really go into master classes. There are no big thanks, Ash. There are no it's just cricket. That's what matters. Like, who cares about Sky doing some touchscreen analysis? Who cares? Like, I'm so glad it's on Channel 4. 100%.
I do kind of care, but I get your point. And I think the technology, as long as it's decent coverage, I'm sure it will be. They didn't really have any time for this one because it was so late notice.
That's all what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, we can talk about this later. I think. I think
that's all that matters. The fact that you're going to get some kids. Like, I've been telling kids in my school, like, watch this because they can. Hopefully,
are they watching it though?
I don't know. Like,
yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, but yeah, I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. 100%.
Yeah. So hopefully it will continue on Channel 4 in the near future, but we'll see. I'm sure we can have a discussion about that another time. So that's the England-India Test match wrapped up. England in the driving seat, that's for sure. And another Test match that is coming on along nicely, Fizan will definitely know about this, is the Pakistan versus Africa Test match. The second and final Test match after Pakistan are 1-0 ahead, 1-0 up. So Pakistan in in their second innings got posted 298 thanks to a fantastic knock by Mohammad Rizwan. And I really rate him as a cricketer. I really like him. And yeah, a great performance by Mohammad Rizwan, and got Pakistan to 298, and he was, aptly supported by Nauman Ali. He hit a decent 45, and he batted really well in the lower order. Just a classic Mohammad Rizwan innings, and they started the day at 129 for 6, and they set South Africa a target of 370. But before we get onto South Africa's reply, Fizan, what do you think of Mohammad Rizwan's performance?
Fantastic. I mean, I've watched the highlights of that innings a couple of times already. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, it's his maiden Test century. We said this before the series. He was on, I think, 5 consecutive Test 50s. I didn't really get any runs in the first Test match, and none really of note in the first innings of this one. Only got 18. But I mean, look, yesterday, who was it? Faheem Ashraf was in with him, and they both were ticking along quite nicely. They're both in their 20s. And then Faheem Ashraf played a bit of a false shot and went too hard at a ball from Lind. And then really all the pressure was on him coming into today. And he just soaked it up perfectly and just said, you know what? I'm going to step up and I'm going to take this on. And he really stepped up to the plate. And he's done that on a number of occasions recently. Maiden Test century, a fantastic knockouts. As I said, some of the strokes he played were fantastic, and it just seemed relatively effortless for him. And I think, considering he was not out by the end, I think it will be, if we win this Test match, a lot of it will be down to him if we do win it. And look, I think Nauman Ali's 45 off 78 is. We've got to mention that, as you said, because that is a very vital knock, and especially if South Africa potentially get close to that target, that could be very, very crucial in deciding tomorrow. So yeah, really pleased with him. Yasir Shah chipped on the nice little 23 as well. And the tail for Pakistan, if I'm being honest with you, apart from really that first innings where they got cleaned up, again they've got some runs here, so I can't complain. I think Pakistan's tail is doing a very good job. I don't really expect too much from them as well. And I think there was a really interesting stat that actually Cash put in the group for us, which basically highlighted the fact that maybe the openers for Pakistan are not doing well enough. They are relying too much on 6 to 11, who are scoring the bulk of the runs and have been. So I think on the whole, like, they need to be doing better. So I've got a stat here. So thank you, Cash, as well. So he said it was 1 to 5. So numbers 1 to 5, they've only scored 367 runs this series, but batsmen 6 to 11 have scored 630. So not quite double, but almost. And I think
begs the question, Fizan, why didn't you put your 6 to 11
I'll open them. Yeah, I put Babar Azam at 11. No,
yeah,
yeah. I think
reverse. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I know what you mean. No, I just think, look, it's good and bad. It's a double-edged sword, because it's good that the tail's scoring runs, but it's bad that they're having to score that many runs because the top order are not performing. So good that the lower order are performing well, but I think the openers need to be doing better, don't they? Let's be honest. And I could talk about this for a very long time about Pakistan's openers, so I'm not going to. But yeah, I think on the whole, though, very, very happy. And actually, because we were talking about Mohammad Rizwan, Venu, what do you think actually on this?
On Cash's question? I'm not sure what you're asking, Cash. Are you asking who's better? But I think
maybe a comparison of the two.
Yeah, like Pant was mainly more aggressive than Rizwan, but I think Rizwan was a lot better at rotating strike and was kind of shepherding his lower order. And I think I watched it. Well, I think Nauman Ali hit a single off the last ball of an over, and he got angry at him. It's like, mate, why are you doing that? And but Pant, yeah, I'm just not too sure about Pant. He just seems to have a one mode of playing, whereas Rizwan, he's shown he can play. He can be an attacker. He can also be like the accumulator. And yeah, so at the moment, I'm more sold on Rizwan, and he's a fantastic keeper as well.
Yeah, I personally am of the thought that Pant is probably slightly better batsman. I think he's probably got higher ceiling in terms of his batting. I don't know whether at the moment he's a better batsman, but I think he will get to a higher level in terms of his batting. But keeping wise, Rizwan is quality. Like, he's so good. And I think that's something that Pant needs to work on. So I think at the moment I slightly agree with you. I probably slightly edged towards Rizwan as a wicketkeeper batsman anyway, in both kind of disciplines. Combined, I'm more edged towards him, for sure.
Yeah, and so we've just spoken about Pakistan's second innings, and a special mention to George Linder's spirited bowling performance. He got his first 5-wicket haul, so well done to him. He looks like a quality bowler, and I love his action. And he's also got injured finger as well, so fair play to him. But let's talk about South Africa's reply in the second innings. So thanks to Markram and Van der Dussen, they had a unbroken partnership worth 94 runs for the second wicket. And Markram finished 59 not out and Van der Dussen finished 48 not out to help South Africa 127 for 1 at stumps. And they need another 243 runs to square the 2-match series going to the last day, I believe. And look, West Indies did it today. And they need a 395. South Africa only need 370. So all I'm saying is everyone tune in tomorrow and watch this match, because I think I'm going to be watching this match more than the England-India one, to be honest. But
that's because the England-India one, is probably going to be a draw, right?
Yeah, I'm watching this one, 100%.
Yeah, so, I think though, you know what, you're right, Venu, that the South Africa one is tomorrow is going to be squeaky bum time, isn't it? They've got 9 wickets in hand. They could do it, and as you just said, West Indies, they did it. So, and they got a higher score, maybe potentially against a potentially weaker bowling unit. I don't know. Bangladesh have got a pretty good bowling lineup nowadays. And actually, Cryptic talked about Hassan Ali, and I mean his fiver in the first innings was fantastic. He's going to have to do something similar, I think, tomorrow when the ball starts reversing. He's going to have to bowl like that. He was quite expensive today. I think he went for 7.2 and over in 5 overs, but he was really trying to get the ball to do something, and so he was pitching it probably a bit too full. And we're going to need a lot from him. If I'm being honest with you, he's as soon as the ball starts reversing, he's going to have to be accurate and really make the ball talk. And similarly, Faheem Ashraf's got a bit of a golden arm, as a Cryptic RH17 is talking about here, and he has become a very good all-rounder. And I think I'm happy to say that I'd like to stick with him as an all-rounder going forward for sure. I think Pakistan need to persist with him now. He's got runs with the bat, and hopefully he can get some wickets tomorrow, because he does seem to have a little bit of a golden arm. So fingers crossed Pakistan can get over the line. But it's been a fantastic test match and series.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and really looking forward to tomorrow. And on terms of Faheem Ashraf, I think a lot of test play nations are really looking for a seeming all-rounder, like Ben Stokes, who's for Australia, Cameron Green, and now Faheem Ashraf for Pakistan. So yeah, I think he's hopefully develops a great all-rounder. We've seen some signs this series.
Yeah. We should also talk about, because I think we've been very Pakistan heavy. I think we should definitely talk about Aiden Markram and Van der Dussen as well, about how good they were, because both these players in the series, I think, have been the standouts for South Africa. They had put on a really good partnership in the first match, where unfortunately they lost, but they did a really good job. And then I think this time again, they performed really well, and Aiden Markram especially has really impressed me. 59 off 131. He used his feet really well to the spinners, and something that actually is a technical point, which I don't know if people are interested, if they are, is if you watch the way that he played against Hassan Ali, some of the fours he hit and boundaries to a straighter delivery from Hassan Ali, rather than playing kind of straight back down the ground, which you'd expect normally, he actually played more towards cow corner or wide mid-on. And it's almost like what he was doing, which is very clever, is he knew that Hassan Ali gets a lot of... he bowls big in-swingers for the most part. So he picked the ball out of Hassan Ali's hand pretty quickly, and he adjusted, and so he turned the bat slightly to basically accommodate for that swing. but he still made sure his head was over the ball and was still, and he was in line with the ball, but he just played it more towards kind of the mid-on, kind of wide mid-on region, which is, I guess, a bit similar to someone like KP who used to do something like that. And so what he did, he really accommodated for that swing. And from a battling point of view, you might watch that at home and think, "Oh, that's a bit ugly," but no, it's not. What he's done is very clever, and he's adjusted to it, and he's made sure that he's not going to get an inside edge or get caught LBW or nick off. He's adjusted to it fantastically. So really, really happy. From a batting point of view, I think that was fantastic.
Fascinating insight there, Rizwan. I think you've done a better job than Simon Hughes has. Maybe that could be a feature. Rizwan's analysis. You pick a player and you analyze them. I think that's quite better than Simon Hughes. That's for sure. Well, that's probably your opinion, but I love Simon Hughes. I loved him as a kid. Like, this is so cool when he did that. But anyway, so moving on. So probably tune into South Africa, Pakistan tomorrow, I reckon. Yeah, I agree. What do you think about that, Rizwan?
Yeah, I agree. I think so. Cryptics here said just very briefly we move on. He said that Pakistan sorts out the top order. There will be a good all-round team. I agree. They need to just sort out the openers. I think primarily, so Azhar Ali and Babar Azam can have more time at the crease. More time. What's the word? Sorry, they can have the openers need to occupy the crease better so that they can come in when the ball's a bit older. Even is the right way of putting that. Cryptic agrees with us, says that Rizwan is a bit better because he can play in different situations and maybe under more pressure potentially. And even Cash agrees with the Pant and Rizwan comparisons. I think both people agree. And Cash has actually asked about Markram against the left arm spin. He was extremely impressive, to be honest with you, against left arm spin, and he struggled a little bit with it, but moved his feet really well to Naman Ali. And hit him for, I think it was a couple of sixes actually, or against Naman Ali. Even though he only went for 2.92 and over, he played him really well, picked the right deliveries to attack, and he's always looked like a player that looks fantastic and has all the shots, and his timing looks really good. But his fell into a bit of a terrible form for the last year or so, but he seems to have picked it back up. And after having not a single 50 in the subcontinent, previously to this tour, he's now picked up 2. So I'm sure he'll be looking to go big tomorrow as well. And yeah, that's fine. Left ones, I said that. And I think both teams. Okay, cool. I think that's done.
Okay, we can move on. Okay, good. So so do tune into that match. It's going to be a good one. So let's move on to. I really started to follow this quite well. I really got into it. So the Big Bash League has come to an end, and Sydney Sixers have won the Big Bash. They won it last year, so it's the back-to-back. I think they're the first team to win back-to-back BBL titles. So they won Big Bash League number 10, and once again, James Vince, an English player, performing really well. He hit another 95. I think he hit 99 in the semi-final or the
98,
98, and he just backed it up to a 95. I think Sydney Sixers batted first, and they got 188 in 20 overs, and they beat Perth Scorchers by 27 runs. Perth Scorchers could only get 161. Liam Livingston got 45 for the Perth Scorchers, and Josh Philippe was named match of the tournament, whilst Vince was named man of the match. But it was a really, 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 really good tournament, and it was nice to see crowds in Australia. Kind of a bit jealous. I wish I could I wish I could not time travel, but I wish I had an ability where I can just go from one place to another. Like, I wish I could go to Australia and watch these matches. But anyway, I'm sure our turn will come in the summer. But yeah, it was a really good tournament. There were some really interesting rules they had. They had in this tournament, they had like a power play equivalent where they only could have 2 people two players outside. It's called a power surge.
That is super sub, didn't they? Where you can sub someone on midway.
So it's quite interesting. I need to read up and see how that's worked out. But so City Six is winning, and James Vince performing really well. And another England player we got to talk about is Alex Hales, also had a really good tournament. So what do you think, firstly, what do you think about the Big Bash League Fazan? And secondly, what do you think of James Vince and potentially Alex Hales being talked about in the England T20 or ODI sides?
Yeah, so first of all, the Big Bash, I think it seems to have been a very good tournament. Unfortunately, maybe the final wasn't as close as people may have wanted, but a fantastic knock by James Vince. The new rule changes, I don't think I'm ever going to get my head around it. I think there was a lot of uproar when it was first introduced because, all the current players and ex-players are saying, why not keep it the same? Because then all franchises are, uniform and consistent with the rules. I guess maybe some people have been convinced by it and think it's quite a nice little change. And I think it's a bit more gimmicky, and I'm not a massive fan, but I don't think it's affected the tournament too much, to be honest with you. The bat flip, I don't know if you've seen the videos, but the bat flip they did at the start of the final, they do a bat flip instead of a coin toss, and they did the bat flip, and but the first 2 times it basically fell on the edge because the edges are so big on bats now. So they had to do it 3 times, and it was like farcical. And there's like videos going around like, this is stupid. And I was like, yeah, it's a bit weird. So I think those are just really small things. But in terms of the actual cricket, I think the actual cricket was very good. I said before, it's a bit of a shame that, say, for example, all of the Australian international players can't play the full tournament because it overlaps with the Boxing Day test, etc. But I think overall the quality was good. And James Vince and Alex Hales performed really well, as did a lot of the other counter players. I mean, Liam Livingston hit 45 or 35 in the final as well. He did pretty well in this tournament. And yeah, I think I'll start with Alex Hales first because I think that's a bit easier for me. I think in the ODI side and T20s, I can potentially see him coming back. But there's 2 things that need to happen. I think I mentioned this before. One is he needs to make nice with the England Cricket Board, and they need to be on board with, I guess, he needs to really show some type of remorse. I think Owen Morgan said that he'd lost trust in Alex Hales and it needs to be built up again. I don't know whether they're at that point now. Who knows? But he is getting on a bit. So if he does want to play for England again, I think he's probably got until realistically the next World Cup, the next ODI World Cup. And then potentially he's got, what's it called? Either the T20 World Cup this year or next year in Australia. And then in terms of James Vince, but Alex Hales, I'd like to see him back in anyway. James Vince, I don't want to see him, but not in ODIs or tests because he's had a lot of chances in both and he hasn't performed. And international cricket is a higher level, I'm going to be honest with you. And he just doesn't seem to perform and has been given a lot of chances. But maybe he's made it click, who knows? But in T20s, I think considering how well he's played, I wouldn't mind seeing him play a few T20s. But at the same time, he would never get into the side, realistically, because they're even opening with Butler now, so I don't even know if Hales would. So they're going with Roy and I think Butler. They've also got Bairstow who can open and who I think should be opening. They've got a lot of options in the opening slots. So I just don't think I'd see him there.
Yes, we'll come on to that later, Cash, about your question about that later on in the video. So when does the PSL start, Fazan? Is that soon?
Yeah, that's in February. So it's this month. The exact date is, I think it's the back end. Let me just double check as well. But yeah, I'm looking for a lot of the players in the BBL are going to be playing in the PSL. So James Vince's, Alex Hales. So it starts on the 20th of February. Opens up with Karachi Kings versus Quetta Gladiators. So Karachi Kings are the reigning champs. So that's when that's starting. So that's going to be exciting.
Yes. So I'm looking forward to that. And also the IPL also starts, I believe, sometime in April. And the auction is occurring on February the 18th in Chennai. And Mitchell Starc and Joe Root have opted out of the IPL 2021. Whereas Shakib Al Hassan, Srish Santh, Dawud Malan, Marnus Labish and Alex Hales, amongst others, also registered their interest. What do you think, Fazan, about Mitchell Starc and also Joe Root not putting themselves forward for the IPL auction for this year?
So Joe Root, I think, is a more easy one because I think realistically he probably doesn't want to play it because, one, I don't think he's a massive fan of T20 cricket and franchise cricket, potentially. And two, he probably thinks to himself, I'm not going to get into the T20 side for England this year, as in for the World Cup. I'll be very surprised if he does. And 3, they've got a packed test schedule. So I think he just is thinking to himself, I don't really need to be playing this. And I don't think he is being regarded as a top player in the IPL when he has played previously. So he probably is thinking to himself, I'd rather get more game time or practice on my game and kind of rest for the test matches that are upcoming. And he's in such fantastic form. He's probably thinking, I don't really want to go out playing T20 cricket and potentially ruin some of the groove that I'm in at the moment as well.
Yes, so that's the IPL kind of wrapped up.
Sorry, I was supposed to say about Mitchell Starc. Sorry, I completely forgot.
Yeah,
sorry. Mitchell Starc, I think, is 2 things. I think one, he looked a bit tired actually, and they had a very long tour of India. He's also he didn't play the BBL because he said he thought it would be a bit unfair on the players that are already playing, so he didn't play the last game. I think it was. In terms of the IPL, it could have potentially been good practice for the World T20 coming up. But I think he's probably thinking to himself, I've been in a lot of bubbles and I probably, again, want to rest so that I can be fresh for Australia, because he's a type of bowler that needs to be fresh to perform well. And I think there was a really interesting stat that showed his average as a test series goes on, like a 4 or 5 match test series, it gets worse and worse each test match. And like he basically performs worse after, I think it's the second test match. It kind of drastically gets worse each test match. So I think he's someone who definitely needs to rest, and he's an express bowler, so he needs to be bowling in a short burst and rest and recuperate, I'd imagine.
Yeah, that's well said there, Fazan. Yeah, so that's the IPL wrapped up. Now another tournament, franchise tournament, have come to the end, which I wasn't really sure about this one. I didn't really watch it, to be honest, and I think Fazan really didn't watch it, and I reckon none of you watched it. So the Abu Dhabi T10 trophy has come to an end, and the Northern Warriors lifted the prestigious Abu Dhabi T10 trophy in the UAE capital on Saturday night, and with Nicholas Puran's men, as they became the first 2-time champions in the competition's 4th edition history. I'm not sure if that's an amazing feat or not, but yeah, quite interesting format, T10. I'm not, to be honest, I wasn't a fan of T20 when it started, and I think I've kind of converted recently. But T10, I'm really not sure about it. And I think the administrators are thinking about having it, the T10 maybe, format in the Olympics, because it can fit in nicely in an hour and a half, 2 hours time slot. But yeah, I think it's just another tournament that we don't need, as well as the 100. Let's not talk about the 100. But I'm glad that's coming to an end.
Yeah, you know what? I'm of 2 opinions on this. One is partly because I think I might have someone coming onto the channel who played in it. So when I interview him, I don't know if I can say I'm not a massive fan, but I probably will, to be honest. But what I think, my opinion on it is quite complicated. I talked to Ryan Cartwright, who's a Titans fast bowler. I did an interview with him, so if you haven't checked it out, guys, check it out. Basically, we talked about this in quite a lot of depth, and I said to him, I was in 2 minds, because firstly, I was thinking, okay, it's T10. Then what's next? T5, T1? We were joking about it in the cricket group. And I was thinking, how short? And, he said, yeah, how short can you make it? It's true. But then I also said, if this is the only way that cricket's going to be in the Olympics, then is this not good to help grow the sport? So probably they need to roll it out, for example, in something like this. That's not international level, because they want to see how it would work. And see what kind of interest is around it. So I've kind of fallen upon a little, I guess, compromise that I'm happy for it to be once a year. And I'm happy for it to potentially be in the Olympics. I'm not thrilled that that's how cricket is going to be shown to the whole, like globally, to the whole world in the Olympics, because I think it's not, obviously I'd prefer, the best format is Test cricket. It's just too long. So realistically, if we want cricket to grow, T20 cricket is probably too long. So I'm in a catch-22 because I want it to grow, and it's probably the best way of doing it in the Olympics with T10. But I also am kind of bit like, I don't know if this is a bit too gung ho for me. So that's kind of where I've fallen upon with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the same position. I'm not too sure about it, but I think it's good for the game. We had a discussion before about putting cricket in the Olympics and make it a worldwide sport. And if T10 is a way to do that, then fair enough. So yeah, we'll see.
You know, actually, what I wouldn't mind is if it was just in the Olympics, so that they just had that form of the Olympics, and then it didn't grow. Because what I don't want to happen, realistically, I don't want it to be like T20 cricket where there's loads of franchises for T10 cricket. That I think would be bad.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people might say that about T20, but we've already got 3 formats. To have 4 formats is just too much. And also, I just think it loses a bit of. You lose some of the tactics and also maybe the cricket IQ needed in T10 because it's so short.
Yeah, it is. It is really short, isn't it? And yeah. So we'll see how that develops. And now that's our final talking point. Let's talk about the English game because we've got another couple of months till the start of the season. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll come around quickly. And you'll be glad to hear Fazan, the Vitality Blast. So basically the English version of the of a T20 tournament. It's not quite a franchise.
Yeah, it's not a franchise though. Yeah,
it's not a franchise. But the Vitality Blast and the Royal London Cup, which is the 50 over format, are announced in 2021 as the 2021 schedule takes place. So the ECB confirms the return of the Royal London Cup in midsummer and a Blast Finals Day to occur in September. And due to the pandemic last year, there was a bit of it was all rearranged. And yeah, I'm just glad that there'll be some normality, like kind of a normal format of an English county summer. I know the county championship's going to be a different format, but I'm really looking forward to looking at a 20 over and 50 over tournament as well as the county championship this season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm sorry to keep plugging my own interviews, but because I've only done 2 so far, I need to keep doing it so people watch it. But also because I thought they were really good insight, not from me, because I'm just a normal person, but from the actual cricketers. So Sean Dixon is... Sorry?
Are you? No, just kidding. Keep going.
Yeah, Sean Dixon, who's the Durham opener, he talked to me about the format, and I think I mentioned to you, Venu, that I'm not the biggest fan. He said he prefers the older format. Let's just put it that way. And he was a little bit disappointed by it, but he just said, they've been looking at it for quite a long time. The T20 Blast, so actually, I guess that kind of falls into what Cash is saying. I kind of don't want it to be a franchise because I feel like in England, cricket is big enough and it's revered enough and respected enough that you still have big players come to T20 Blast potentially. Like, I mean, when I say big players, I mean, they are big players, but you don't maybe have as many. So, I mean, we had like Babar play for Somerset, Sheena Freedy played, Imad Wasim. Sorry?
Finch played for Surrey.
Yeah, Finch played for Surrey.
Back in the day.
Yeah, I think Ashwin played for Notts as well.
Yeah, did play.
Yeah, so I think that there's a few that obviously have come in and they've played. Maybe you don't have Hashim Amla played for Surrey last year. Yeah, I just think I don't know off the top of my head. I can't remember exactly what the rules are. How many overseas players you could have? I think maybe if they want to maybe open it up so that you have more world-class players joining, then potentially you need to have more overseas slots. But I think the only issue I'd have is that the money, even though the money here in the UK for cricketers, I think, is more than most other countries, is still not as big as some of the franchise tournaments. So maybe that's why it's not as big a pool. So you won't see, for example, when Andre Russell come and play the T20 Blast. So I'm in 2 minds, but I kind of like it. I don't really know if I want it to be franchised. But I'm assuming it's going to go that way at some point, let's be honest. And the 100 Venu, I mean, we're both not a fan of it. And I just think why create a format that's only 20 balls less than a T20? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But maybe I'll like it when it happens. Who knows? I could easily change my mind. Yeah, that's my. But I'm looking forward to the longer day stuff, especially now that I'm even more in tune with the game and also the One Day Cup. And another shout out plugging the channel. I've got Ollie Robinson, the Kent wicketkeeper batsman. He is on tomorrow. So I'm going to be interviewing tomorrow, releasing that. So I'm going to be talking to him about that stuff. So that'll be exciting, and I'm sure I'll be asking him about questions like this as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that interview, and yeah, I'm not sold on 100. I will be. Hopefully, we're proven wrong. So that's all the topics that we've discussed. It's been a great week of cricket, in terms of a lot of Test cricket going on, franchise cricket. Yeah, it's been a great week. So this is the moment that you've all been waiting for, everyone. It's the
Before we go on to the awards, I've got some questions here. Let me know if you want to answer them. Otherwise, we can just move on. There's only a couple. They should be pretty brief, I think. So let me know. There's just one here talking about Quinton de Kock's captaincy. So very briefly, do you want to talk about it? You're short and to the point.
I'm not sold on Quinton de Kock. I think the fact that he said he didn't want the captaincy before the series kind of speaks volumes. So yeah. And who should be next captain? Maybe Aidan Markram. Could be captain. I think he maybe Aidan Markram. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I agree. I think either maybe Aidan Markram or potentially Dean Elgar, if they're not sold on Markram yet. And then you could just have Markram as vice captain. And it could work like that potentially. I think that's how I'd do it. And then we've got T10 is good and I like it. I think me and Venu both disagree, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. And I think that's it, to be honest with you. So I'm sorry, Venu. Carry on.
Yes, so no worries, Fizan. So let's now go on to the awards. So it's probably my favorite part of the show, to be honest, and also Fizan's probably. So to those who are not used to this format, we kind of give out awards to cricket players this week. So first things first, star of the week, Fizan. I think nominations, Joe Root again, another masterclass, but it has to be Carl Myers, surely.
What? Not Don Bess? What's going on? No, I'm joking. You know what? This is. It's
Rizwan,
funny. It's good.
Maybe.
It's a good thing we're doing it today. That's all I'm going to say to you, because if we'd done it yesterday, Carl Myers obviously wouldn't be in the. He wouldn't even be in the equation. But I think if you take the week as a whole, he's probably stolen it, hasn't he? At the last second with that fantastic, incredible knock. Like, it really is. Yeah, I think honourable mentions Joe Root, that double 100, fantastic, incredible. We've talked about it a lot. I don't think I need to go on about it too much because it was just, I think we both agree it was incredible. And then also, yeah, Muhammad Rizwan's knock was very good, the 115. What else? Am I missing any out, Venu? Honourable mentions?
Mehdi Hassan, maybe, for Bangladesh. I thought he played quite well. Hassan, I forgot, someone got 100 in the Bangladesh game. And
Mehdi Hassan. Yeah, he did. Yeah. He did. And he's a bowler as well.
So, but it has to be Carl Myers. The thing is, if this was an Australia-England Ashes match, this innings would have been rated as the all-time greats. But unfortunately, it's not. But it's probably up there with a fantastic performance, considering it's not the West Indies' strongest team. Also, he's making his debut as well. 210 his debut. Fair play. Has to be. So well done, Carl Myers.
Yeah, because you're right about Mehdi Hassan. He got 100 and he got a fourfer.
Yeah.
And he also got, he picked up 8 wickets in the match and 100. So normally you'd always give a tip. No, I know. I'm just saying that just shows, right? Like how dominant they were potentially and how good he was. But Carl Myers, 100%. I mean, what was it? 210 off
not out
310 balls. Not, oh man, that's going to do his average wonders going forward.
It's like currently 250 at the moment. His average is 250.
He's going to be able to take a few matches off, let's just say that. But hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he carries on the form. And, you're right, Venu. 100% you're right. 10 times over when you say that if this was between two different teams, it would have a lot more coverage. I'm not going to name specific broadcasters and websites, but we mentioned it before. There was one website which rightly so had it as the top topic because it should be the hottest topic around. 100%. Like it's an incredible knock, incredible win, and also it's a result. Whereas another website had the India England one on it, and I understand that there's that India is huge. No, sorry, cricket is huge in India, and there's a lot of a fever around that match, and that's rightly so. But considering what's just happened today, I think they can take a day off that, and this should be given the front seat for sure. And as people will say if they're reading newspapers, the front page headlines. Karma is it's just yeah, rightly so, as you said, Venu, rightly so.
100%. Yeah, well done, mate. So well done to you. Team of the week, I would say maybe Sydney Sixers potentially. England potentially. I don't know who else.
West Indies, mate. West Indies has to be West Indies.
Yeah, but they just had one. It was. I don't think it was a team performance. Let's be honest.
It was.
It wasn't. It wasn't team performance.
It has to be, Venu. You can't win by one player.
No, it was. If it was a team performance, they would have needed 100 to win in the last fourth innings, not 285.
Okay, I'm going to say something to you. But then we gave it to India when India beat Australia in the Gabba, and Pant had a similar innings. Yeah, and it was only a couple of players that chipped in for that, and that was like a
yes,
they pinched it. This is exactly the same. There's still a win. A win's a win.
I don't think to make my case now. I think that India match, Australia match, I don't think India were completely out of that test match from day one. There was extra innings from the lower order in the first innings to get them to a decent score, and you had Punt get that as well. So that's more of a team performance. Whereas
that's what makes it even better. This one though.
But I don't think it's a team performance. I think it's just a couple of Carmyers and Bonner had a fantastic partnership, and you could say Carmeyer single-handedly got them over the line.
No, I disagree. He didn't single-handedly do it. It's impossible. It's a team game, and even the openers got 20s. Look, Josh Silva got 20 odd. Like everyone has to play their part, and so I understand what you're saying.
But for 4 out of 5 days, they were out of the match.
It doesn't matter. That's the beauty of Test cricket.
All of a sudden, you're going to give them team of the week. But
okay, Venu, I'll put it this way: if they dominated every single day, you'd give it to them, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
not every single day. Like the majority of the day, I would have given it to them.
But why does it matter? They still won, and they were the underdogs, and they had a C or D team, and they beat Bangladesh. So the fact is, they weren't even expected to win. So the fact that they won, I think, is incredible in itself. It doesn't matter how they won. I think it's just the fact that they won. If it was a West Indies A team, I would say, yeah, you know what, I agree with you. But personally, I think Windies have been fantastic. As in the fact that, yeah, you're right. It was only one day, but it doesn't matter because they still won it. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what my thinking is behind it, and it is the beauty of Test cricket, as we said before. But I personally, and look, you're the overriding, ruler of this. My personal opinion is that I would love to go to West Indies because I think this could be, could have been great.
Well, okay, I think for outboard Test matches, yes, West Indies, fair enough. However, I think Sydney Sixers have got a shot for winning the Big Bash League. Because let's be honest, they finished top of the group stages, and they were a great team performance. That's a proper team performance.
Oh, but in T20s, no. But who cares?
Why are you being biased for T20s?
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to give my honest opinion. I don't care about T20s. Like, how can you say that a Test performance like that is less than? And if you want to talk about team performance, you can't talk about. We're talking about the week. So Sydney, you can't take into consideration the tournament. So whatever games they played this week, that's what we're taking into consideration.
Semi-final. Earlier on this week.
Who cares? It's not even an international tournament. I'm just being honest with you. If it was the PSL, I wouldn't care. I'll literally, if this happened,
nah, you wouldn't. You wouldn't, mate.
I promise you, if the PSL happened and something like that happened, and the West Indies match just happened now, I wouldn't give a damn about the PSL. I would say, you know what, the West Indies should get it 100%. Even if it was Lahore, which is a team I'm supporting.
I don't think this was a complete team performance from. Okay, as a team, I think we're getting into what we think of as a team performance. I think a team performance is where everyone performs well together as a team and gets a result. I think West Indies, they didn't perform for 4 out of the 5 days.
Yeah. But Venu,
they
I
had
get
really
that.
good. They had an amazing day today. Yes, maybe it was a team performance in the last day, but they could have easily made it better for themselves if they if they didn't get, if Bangladesh didn't get 430 in the first innings.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I think they were out of it. They were completely out of it, and it was thanks to Carl Mayer's incredible knock. We already given him credit. We've given him credit.
But so who cares? Like, you have to give it. Okay, let's go through the comments actually before, and we'll come back to this. So Cash, I think he agreed. He said this. I think, and Cash, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he said he agreed with you in terms of the India performance. In comparison, the India performance was potentially better. I think he was saying. Ashraf says Bangladesh should have lost. I don't know what that means. It's like one session can change things. Yep. He does say Sydney things were amazing. Yeah, I agree. They're amazing. Ashraf says Fazan is pro Pakistan. He says, "Fazan, are you serious?" I am serious. If it was the PSL, I wouldn't care. I'd care about this. Cash says, "No way. No, this is actually blasphemy." Then you have to back me up here. That's not true at all. How in the world? I'm sorry, Cash. I love you, Cash, but the T20 World Cup is about here, right? And the IPL is like down here, and the PSLs might be lower. I don't care. It can be as low as you want. But I'm sorry, the T20 international cricket is up here, and look, I'm not even going to agree with that at all. I'm not even going to address it.
I think Cash has got a point, because
how?
I think
Venny, tell me one franchise that's better than international cricket. Don't come on, be serious.
the PSL is definitely better than the international cricket.
The PSL's
no,
not.
I'm not saying it's better. But I'm not going to say it's better. But I think franchise cricket gives you a different what's the word? It just, I don't know what's the word.
No, okay, Venu. Is the level better? Which
of course
one is
it's not better.
level? Yeah, then there we go. That's my point.
Yeah,
that's my point. I'm not talking about the spectacle. I'm talking about level.
I think it provides something different, because you've got different international players, different people from different countries playing together. I mean, it does offer different, but I agree with international cricket is a lot better. T20, of course it is. Of course the standard will be better. But
let's hold that, because you have the overall decision as well, by the way. I'm just going to go through the comments because they're talking about this actually. So Asher says, I agree with Fazan though. I think he says Test cricket performance is better than T20. Yeah, I agree. Cryptic says, I agree with Fazan with this one. Thank you. But Cash says, no, I was agreeing with Windies not being the best team. Okay, fair enough. So we've got some people saying that they agree with me, some people saying they agree with you. So exactly, Fazan, I think he's talking about T20 international cricket being better than franchise. But Cash says it's going to change soon. I don't think it is, and I hope it's not going to, because franchise cricket should never be above international cricket. And I know, Venu, that you're being more sold on T20 cricket, but international cricket should always be the pinnacle for me. Mumbai Indians, I don't know what that means. They shouldn't even be on the same level. Yeah, they shouldn't be on the same level. That's the point. And it says they aren't making cricket into football. International cricket is way at the top. Yeah, okay. Venu, I'm going to give you the overall decision.
Well, I have to go for my decision, Sydney Sixers.
I can't believe this.
Unless you want to make it a joint one, because I think it's quite even. It's quite even out there. So shall we just give it a joint Sydney Sixers and West Indies? I'm going to pick Sydney Sixers.
How can you pick Sydney Sixers over West Indies? I don't understand.
I've made my point. If you watch it again and rewind it, I mean, I made my point. But Sixers.
But Test cricket is the pinnacle of the sport.
I agree. It's the pinnacle of the sport.
But then how? I don't understand. But it's a contradiction. Then
it wasn't a contradiction. It wasn't a team performance.
Okay. How is it not team 4? It's the team 1. It wasn't Carl Myers was like, yeah, I won.
Yeah.
They're saying no joints. They're saying, here you go. There's no joints. He goes,
okay, I'm going Sydney Sixers.
I love Benny. Like, if franchise cricket is on top of international cricket, I'll break my TV and never watch cricket again. Cash goes, yes, Benny. Sydney Sixers over West Indies. I'm going to sleep. No, well, you know what? Look, at the end of the day, don't be persuaded to go whatever you think, Benny. I don't know why I'm just so strongly with this, and I like the Big Bash. If there wasn't this performance, I'd say it's fine. But yeah, I don't know.
Deal with
I
it,
wouldn't
mate.
have,
I picked it. Sydney
I wouldn't,
Sixers.
I wouldn't have even gone for England. I wouldn't have gone for Pakistan. I wouldn't gone for anyone. But the fact that West Indies, I just think it's for what it's going to do for West Indies cricket. This win, for what it's going to do for West Indies cricket and for Test cricket, especially in the West Indies, like the Big Bash, like Sydney Sixers winning the Big Bash. What effect does that have on anything? Nothing really. But West Indies winning this Test match will have a huge effect
Yeah, but
in West Indies.
I don't
So
think that's
surely they get Team of the Week.
I don't think when we create this award that we have to meet. It has to meet those criteria.
Well, okay, so but you're basing it on a sole performance, right?
I'm saying that a team of the week is a team performance of the week. I'm sorry, but Carl Myers, there was a fantastic performance from him.
Okay, fine.
Cool.
It wasn't just him, but it's fine.
Of course, it wasn't just him, but
look, Jamal Warrican got 4 wickets. Carl Myers got 40 in the first. Jermaine Blackwood got 68. Josh Silva got 42.
They pulled off the most unlikely wins. Like they needed 395 to win Fazan in the 4th innings. That's only happened. I think it's the highest run chase in Asia. It wasn't a team performance. If it was a team performance, they would have needed 200 runs to chase in the 4th innings or 250, not 395.
Why does it matter? They won. Okay, I'll tell you this: if they'd won in a different manner, you give it to them. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because there was a team performance.
But they still won, though. Okay, so what you're telling me is that if West Indies won by 8 wickets, you would give it to them because they would have set it up better, right? But the fact that they still won, and no one expected them to win. So that's my point. Like, how can they not get it then? I think Ashraf agrees with me, saying West Indies should have won, but I think Cash has agreed with you, saying they won the whole tournament. But the whole tournament in the Big Bash, like, it's not.
Well, Rizwan, can I just say something? Like, I don't want to be always Test cricket biased. I think
but
we
it's
are.
not Test cricket biased. No. But Venu, I disagree. It's Test cricket, and I think most people can agree is the pinnacle. And you've got to stick to your gun. You just got to stick to your guns. Like, what do we? It's not biased at all. It's our opinion on it. And I think if you need to take it as a performance, like it's not to do with Test cricket. Actually, it's international cricket. If it was an international T20, someone got absolutely blitzed in a series, I'd say fine. We can even I think last week I said potentially Ireland could have got it. Sorry, Afghanistan, because they beat Ireland in they clean swept them. But franchise cricket, I'm sorry, I don't. Yeah, it's for me. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick, huh?
Why are we covering it in the video? If you don't care about it, why are we covering this in the video?
No. I don't care about it in comparison to international cricket. That's my point. It pales in comparison. It's cricket. I'm happy to cover it, but it's nowhere near. Like franchise cricket is here, international cricket is up here for me, and Test cricket is up here.
No, I completely agree with you, Fazan. I agree with you. However, I made my point. I'm not gonna say it again.
Oh, fine. Okay.
So Sydney Sixers, well done for winning team of the week. Okay. So that's that. So moving on, who do you think needs to do the homework? Which player?
I don't know. You, Venu, you. I'm joking. I'm just joking. I'm just laughing at the comments. Exactly. I got this week. West Indies. Yeah, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I think player that needs to do their homework. There's a few actually potentially. What's it called? Let's have a think. I think Bangladesh they did okay. I mean, I don't think the players were that bad. If you think about Pakistan versus South Africa, the Pakistan openers need to do their homework. I think 100%. If we look at India and England, and I might get a lot of stick for this, but Kohli needs to do his homework, captaincy and also batting. He hasn't got any runs since the start of 2020, so it's not exactly like. But we're only addressing the week, to be fair. So let's look at it just as the week. I think that's fair. So if we're addressing it just from the week, then Kohli didn't get any runs and didn't captain well, but the openers for Pakistan were poor.
I'll say Virat Kohli, personally.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy to go with that. I don't mind either, to be honest with you.
because there's opportunity, play a captain's innings like Joe Root did and get some runs. And it really surprised me earlier when he said his scores, his last few test scores, there's only 150.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well,
so
he was our I think it was disappointment of the year for Test cricket.
Oh, really?
In our 2020 annual awards. Yeah, I don't know if you remember. So because his average was, I think, 18 or 19. And he hadn't scored, and obviously by his standards, he's an incredible player. So I think he's obviously not in the best vein of form, and that 70 in Australia kind of, I guess, put people's attention away from it. But now, when you look at it as a whole, I think, I think, I agree with you probably.
Yeah, Virat Kohli. For need to do the homework. I'm sure he'll do his homework, and I'm sure he scored some runs this series. In terms of team that needs to do the homework,
Cash says England selectors need to do their homework and pick mine. But they're not technically a player. We could do that, I guess. I guess that would be a committee or something, or I don't know. But yeah, no, I agree with that though. It's not a category, but yeah, I agree. Cash 100%. English selectors need to do the homework and pick Moyne. I think me and Venu are both in agreement on that one anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
100%. No arguing there. So, in terms of team that needs to do the homework, I would say, it's a difficult one. I'm not sure. I would have maybe potentially South Africa, but they've had a good end of the fourth day, thanks to Markram and Van der Dussen. India potentially. I don't know.
I think India, to be honest with you.
Why?
I was thinking Bangladesh, but I just think that's why I wanted to give Windies a team of tournaments. I just think sometimes that happens. Like you have a player or a team, and they just have a fantastic day 5, and or day 4, and they just blitz you, and that's the beauty of Test cricket. So I wouldn't really think to myself Bangladesh have had a terrible week. I think.
But
it's not great. It's not great because they got beaten at home, but India getting comprehensively. It seems like they're getting comprehensively beaten at home at the moment. So I kind of I'm going to go towards them probably. Although you never know, but I think if I'm judging on the week, then probably India. I'd say.
Yeah, India.
What do you think, Venu?
India as well. Because they've been pretty disappointing in terms of, allowing England to get that score, and also the reply hasn't been great. I was expecting.
Do you think it's a bit of arrogance as well? Because not in just because they did so well in Australia.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and
they didn't have their full strength side, and obviously that was a fantastic series win. And do you think? I think we both said this actually before. I think we both said maybe they need to be careful not to let it get to their head.
I think because they're after being Australia in such a high, and I think it's really, really hard to peak that. And I think, let's be honest, I think Sri Lanka got England into good nick. They got Dub 7 into good nick, Joe Root into good nick, Don Bess even into good nick. So all thanks to Sri Lanka. So it's quite clever to tour Sri Lanka before the India series. But I think there is a bit of arrogance, and I think Kohli's back in the side, which will add to that, fuel that as well. So this is why I think Rahane should be captain.
Oh, you know what? That opens up a can of worms. There's a lot of talk around that, isn't there? Because I think a lot of people were saying that if Rahane had scored runs, then even more so. So he's probably lucky he didn't. A fantastic catch by Root. Root actually did Kohli a favour there, I think, with that flying catch.
So are we going to go for India?
Yeah, I'm happy to go with India.
Yeah. So that's India for that. I'm sure they will improve. Who knows? The test match isn't over yet. So in terms of, shall we do funniest moment of the week? What's the funniest moment of the week? I can't think of any funny moments.
Bess's wicket of Bajara.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious.
That was pretty hilarious.
That was funny.
Man, yeah. Just to recap, long hop, Pajara goes on the back foot, and he's just thinking, "This is easy runs." Goes to pull him, hits. I think you said it was Pope's shoulder while he's trying to crouch to get out of the way, and then just loops to Burns. And I think the whole team and Bess just can't believe their luck. But Yeah, I thought that was quite funny, to be honest. I thought that was one of those moments that I watched it back and I was like, "What the heck?" But you can only laugh, I think, unless.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. Like I've seen it come off like the feet or something, but not like the back or the shoulder. It's just and it balloons straight.
It
Like, I
just
would,
fell so nicely. It fell literally straight to him.
yeah, thanks, mate. Like he didn't like Burns didn't have to really move that much. Like just like like that's the funniest moment of the week. Moment of the week it has to be West Indies beating Bangladesh. Carl Myers unbeaten 210.
Oh wait, hold on. You just said that was moment of the week. So how can they not get team of the week?
That's the moment because Carl Myers.
You said West Indies. You said West Indies beating Bangladesh. That's the first you said West Indies beating Bangladesh was moment of the week.
That's the moment of the
Then
week. But it wasn't a team performance though.
Okay, fine. Fine.
You're not going to let it go, Fizan, are you?
No, because I'm actually outraged. Normally, I'm not like with most stuff. I'm not, but with this, I'm just so like. And
It's
normally,
just
I thought you. I know, but I thought you would have. I thought you'd have jumped straight on it because you're just because you're such a massive. You're even more of a Test fan than me.
I agree, but that's probably says a lot, then, doesn't it, Fizan?
No, it doesn't, because lots of people in the chat agree with me.
And there's some people agree with me as well. So I think it's just one of those.
Oh, England's terrible. Oh, so actually, Cash is saying England's terrible reviews for Leach were pretty funny. Yeah, that was a hilarious one, wasn't there? I think he padded it outside off stump, and yeah, he went to do that, which is quite funny. We've got here Venu exposed. This is what happens when we're live.
I really don't care.
I know it's fun. And Ashraf goes there, cryptic, love it. So I think those two are with West Indies. Well, I think Cash is obviously with Sydney Sixers. He says Bob Rasmus's reviews. Yeah, his reviews are pretty funny as well. But I think we can stick with the one that we said. And yeah, I think moment of the week is right as well. Carl Myers, fantastic. West Indies beating Bangladesh, coming from the depths of pretty much about to lose, right? Really, and then with a C and D team. As I said, I just hope it's a kickstart to West Indies revival and Test cricket. Fingers crossed.
And finally, Fizan, what are you looking forward to most over the next week before we wrap this up?
I'm looking forward to tomorrow, day 5 of the Pakistan South Africa match. That's going to be fantastic. I think the England-India one, I was a little bit disappointed that the score was so big in the first innings, because I just feel like it might be leaning towards a draw. But if England can get quick wickets tomorrow, then you never know, right? It could easily fall in favour of England, and they can look to potentially win, I think. And I think what else there's... When do the second Test matches start? When does the second Test match start for England, India?
Bangladesh, West Indies starts on Thursday. And
okay.
What are you asking about?
England, India? That won't be next week, will it?
Next week, Saturday.
Next week, Saturday. Okay, so I think that'll be quite interesting as well to see. Interesting to see whether India go with a similar pitch, because I think they're playing Chennai twice, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
but they prepped 4 pitches, so I'm assuming they might want to go with one that's a bit different to this one, because it's been I think boring is the wrong word. I just think it's been maybe not as exciting as it potentially could have been. Because I think that both teams are so good and skilled, but maybe hasn't brought the best out of both of them. So maybe they'll pick a pitch, and India might think to themselves, let's give ourselves a bit more of a chance with the ball here, because I think they were banking on going big, and so far it doesn't look like they're going to. But we'll see. And I'm interested to see how West Indies do in the second Test as well. Actually, see how whether they can carry on carry on the form after this win, or whether it's just a fluke and a flash in the pan. So yeah. And Cash says here, fans in the second Chennai Test 2 will change atmosphere. I didn't know that, actually. I didn't know there'd be fans. That'll be good. That'll be good. I think in Australia, I think fans played a part, I think, for sure, didn't they? When India toured Australia. Yeah, very captivating live stream, yeah. Okay, I think that's it, Venu, unless you want to discuss something else. Do you have any other awards? What other awards do we normally have? That's it, isn't it?
That's everything, really. Done. That's all the awards, I believe. Yeah, and then I think that's everything. I don't think. Can you think of any other awards?
No. What? We were going to have a discussion about something earlier. What did we have a discussion on? We might do it later. Cash is saying that there's going to be half attendance for
The second
tomorrow for the second, but then maybe potentially full. I think Ashraf's saying for the third. So that's really good. That's good news because the fans, I think, will give India a boost, won't they? Let's be honest, because
sure.
they're at home. I mean,
Yeah.
and it'll definitely intimidate the English players, I think.
Yeah.
So that'll be a big plus.
The crowd factor does kind of take the advantage away from the home team as well.
Well, sorry, what the crowd takes the advantage away from the. Do you mean the away team?
Having no crowds.
Oh, no crowds. Yeah, agreed. 100%. Because it's almost like you're playing just in like a normal ground, right?
Neutral ground.
It's almost like a practice game.
Yeah.
Yeah, neutral ground. So I agree with you.
So I think that's everything, to be honest.
Yeah, unless people have got anything they want to discuss in the chat, maybe me and Venu can have it out with the West Indies 76ers again. No, I'm just joking, Venu. I'm just joking. No, it's fair enough. Like everyone's entitled to their own opinion, so it's good. The chat was kept nice and civil, which is what we like to see, which is good as well. Thanks.
What else are you expecting?
Well, you don't know on YouTube anything can happen. You could just have someone coming on and going crazy and ballistic, like like I don't know. Who knows? Like
Oh, fair enough. Okay. So that's the 10th edition of Venu's Cricket Catch Up. So hopefully you all enjoyed that. Feel free to subscribe to Fizan's Quality Shot channel and do like the video and subscribe and blah blah blah. You know the whole thing. Any plugs, Fizan?
Any plugs? No, I mean, as I said, I've got an interview with Sean Dixon came out. I've also got Ryan Cartwright, who's Titans fast bowler. That came out yesterday. Check it out if you guys are interested. I thought the insight from both of them were really good, and I've got another one coming up. Please also make sure that you check out Venu's other segments he's done throughout the past weeks, because we don't just talk about, as you've seen, Venu puts together not just current cricket matches going on, but also like debates and we had an unexpected debate about the team of the week, but also we have other debates around DRS, other stuff. So Usher, we've already touched upon South Africa's captaincy, so we're not going to do that. And Northern Warriors, I don't know what that is. What South Africa's captaincy?
Team of the week. Yeah, maybe it's team of the week potentially.
Who? Northern Warriors?
Yeah.
Who are they?
They're the for the
T10 league. Oh, shut up, Benny. That shit goes T10. It goes low. What's F5? Do you know?
I have no idea. Shall we wrap it up?
Okay. Yeah, let's wrap it up. Okay.
All right. Cool. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you another time. Bye, everyone.
Cool. Thanks, Benny.
No problem. Thanks, Rizwan. Bye.